Hello, welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 279. I
No.
am no 271. You just told me that. Let's pretend that this is 2 months later.
Ah,
All right, so it's 271.
yes, that is a fact.
Awesome. I'm Laura, who also goes by Lala sometimes, or Ms. Linneman if you're being very fancy, like Amy Beth was calling me a couple weeks ago. I hear that all day long. Although
Oh,
the kids, one of my teachers calls me Miss Linnemans, so just to be funny.
oh,
And so
okay.
kids, her sixth graders who don't know better, call me Miss Linnemans. It's hilarious. Um, because we apparently like the funny over the serious
The
and real
accurate and
things.
correct. Yeah,
It is October 19th, 2015.
I'm
It's
Leslie.
7:12 p.m. That's Leslie. She talks too sometimes when I shut
When
my
I'm
mouth.
allowed. um, yeah. So it's right after Rhinebeck. I'll
It
talk about
is.
that a little bit later. I got home just a couple hours ago and took a
Yep.
little nap. And I have very little to show this week because after Spinzilla, I sort of decided I wasn't going to craft for several days. And I just read.
Take a
So
Craft-cation.
I did take a craft-cation.
Let's make that word stick.
That's hard to say, craft-cation.
Craft-cation.
Let me write it down. If nothing else comes up, that'll be our title. All right, so knitting. Why don't you talk about your knitting while I write this
I
down?
can totally talk about my knitting. I am knitting on some lollipop yarns in the beefcake base. And it's Monday and we didn't record yesterday and lollipop yarns had an update, but I was good and I resisted. So mainly because I'll show you something later that
Where the resistance didn't
prompted.
last.
No, no, no. Like here, I'll show you now. My so you can see it right there. I bought for my pantry these cool little basket things. I'll link them on Amazon. And so they don't fit in my pantry. My pantry door is smaller than the width of those, which is very sad. Um, but it's good in some ways. So now they're in here. I got them off of Amazon. I don't know if I already said that. And they're perfect for like the lollies. So lollipop yarn comes in a ball, and so does nomadic knits, and so
A
does
lot of self-striping comes that way.
yeah, so does a lot of self-striping. Some of Sadie's stuff is over there, some Maroshia, some stuff that I balled up and then never used. So it's perfect because it holds my balls and keeps them from getting tangled. So after I put all those up there, I was like, man, I've got a lot of yarn that are in ball that is self-striping and ball form, and there's no room. Therefore, I cannot buy anything
Mm.
else. Um, I think that's a good way of doing it. Once there's room, we're on like Donkey Kong. But since there's no room, it's fine. So this is Lollipop Yarns in the Beefcake base, which is her DK weight, or sport weight. It's a thicker weight. So I get to knit on it on size 1.5 needles.
It's like a treat.
It is a treat. It's the bestest treat of all. Although I cast on some other needles, other socks on size 2.5s. So that's pretty cool. I'll show those in a second. So it is doing the stripe sequence of black, white, black, orange, black, white, and so on. So I am about to start an orange. It didn't get a ton of love, but it got a little bit. This is my purse project that goes with me in the car, in the purse, everywhere I go. Here, there, everywhere. And it is in a nice Amy Beth bag that fits nicely in my Tom Bin purse. So that is there. I have the other sock that I started, which is out of Moon Rover Yarns. And this is a DK weight as well, but it is much thicker. It's almost like a worsted weight in thickness, so you can see it's pretty thick. Um, and it's 100% superwash merino DK weight. And it is in, I can't remember the colorway. It's some reference to Ghostbusters. Like
Slimer.
ectoplasm and Slimer. Doesn't it look like Slimer?
I thought
It's
that's what you
brighter.
told me it was, but
Yeah, it's not called Slimer, I don't think. I'll have to look. While you're talking, I'll look. And it's got flecks of There's more flecks on this side. Purple and orange and white. And I'm right past the heel flap. On this, so the sloth socks are in a pair of Knit Pick circulars, and now I remember why I hate Knit Pick circulars, because they're kind of the cables wiggling on the inside, and I'm like, y'all
It
better.
catches, yeah.
Don't break, don't break. No whammies, no whammies. Oh, 80s TV shows, how I miss you. That would be like, if I could go on a TV show, that would be Press Your Luck, I think, would be the one that I would go on.
I would be a Supermarket Sweep.
That's a good one too. And then there was that other one that was like Supermarket Sweep, but in a warehouse.
Oh, I never saw that one, I don't think.
Oh, I can't remember what that one's called. Supermarket Sweep's fun. I'm not big on throwing slabs of meat anywhere, so
No, you got to go to like the baby formula and stuff.
yeah,
Like,
baby diapers, get that done. And then the big slabs of meat. And then if you're in Whole Foods, the asparagus water. Have you read it? Never mind.
no.
It's a reference to, anyway. So back to socks, because that's what these are. The sock needles that I'm using are super cool. They are made by Addie, and they are called flip sticks. And one side is super pointy, and the other side is dull-er. So not super dull, but dull-er. So you can decide if you want to use super pointy or dull. And they're colorful. So they come in 3 colors in a pack. So that gold, pink, and blue.
Well, that's good if you tend to stab yourself on the back end.
You can be going with the sharp and have the duller on the other side.
Yeah.
It's also good, like, I don't really need the sharp on this. It's just a 2x2 rib sock. So, and the yarn's not splitty at all. It's nice and plump. So I used the sharper point when I picked up the stitches on the side. It was perfect for that. So overall, I am enjoying these. These might be, they are metal needles. And these might be, I'm thinking they're aluminum. What I get from now on when I pick up new needles, like if I have the choice of when I pick up more double points, because you know you can't have like 5 pairs of double points. You have to have more. So, I have lots, and they come in all sizes. They go from like zeros, because I have some in zeros that I got for the tasting room, all the way up to like 17s. So there's a wide variety of sizes. So those are the first 2 projects, and that one is living. That's like what I've been working on when I've been watching The Voice. This is The Voice, and it is in my Bling Your String bag. Because The Voice requires like some me watching and some just going
So it's
to
not
town.
totally brainless.
It is not. And then the sweater.
You shouldn't be so unhappy about it.
I'm not unhappy now because I finished the stupid Lace of Doom. I just finished that while you were napping, so that put me in a little bit better mood for it. So this is Grace. Grace got a lot of unknitting this week. So she is down past 1 row past the armholes. So the lace portion is over. Somehow I got totally off on the pattern. And so what I did is I just kind of read my lace. And it is a pattern where, if you look, it goes like, it goes like zigzag. So there's a hole there and a hole there and a hole there and a hole there. And so I just read it. So I messed it up and got it off somehow, repeatedly. But I read it and made it look fine. But it was super aggravating, and it took me like 2 rows to realize that I had gotten off because I wasn't looking at it. And then once I realized I had to rip back 2 rows, but you have to tank because if you rip out, it is a disaster. So it's a weird shape. These are, and I made modifications. I made the armholes. Okay, so originally I was knitting a 44, and it's got -4 inches ease. And then I did the math, and even like with the full bust measurement, it actually is like the 44, the actual measurement, like stitch count is 39.5. And that really scared me because I'm a pretty full 44 bust measurement. and 39 and a half, even though it's lace and it'll stretch, like, but it's not. So it's laced to here, it's laced to the armpits, and then
Right.
it's socketed to full bust. So it's not going to stretch as much on the full bust. It's just going to stretch up here. Um, so I added an extra 2 sets of increases, which got me to the 46 numbers because there's only 10 stitches difference between the 44 and 46, which is a little bit disconcerting too when you think
What's the gauge?
6 stitches per inch.
That seems off then.
I'm trusting it
Oh,
because I've read all the patterns, like all the project notes on Ravelry, and no one's really complained about the fit.
sizing, yeah.
What they've complained about is the sizing and the sleeve.
Hmm.
So I went up to the 46, and then I added another 10 stitches in the sleeve because that's on each sleeve because that's what people were recommending. Um, and even with the extra 10 stitches, which is like an inch and a half, people were saying it's still a little snug. So I can pick up, like when I do this, pick up right here, I can add another round of increases right fast before, if it's really tight, if it's snug. Although I just tried it on and it seemed okay. But you know, the needle's right there still too, so it's pretty tight.
Yeah.
Um, I'm also trusting it because my measurement typically from here to here, so from like my collarbone to my underarm is 9 inches. And the 44 called for 8.25, and the 46 called for 8.5. So I did a little bit more than 8.5, I think. I stopped measuring it. Like I would measure and it was 8.5. No, it would be 8.25. And then I knit 4 rows and I measure and it'd be 8.25. And I was like, what? No, this is not right.
This is the wrong kind of magic.
This is not the magic that I need to be happening because I'm already irked about the lace. Like, let's move on. Um, so it's getting there. I need to stop being so negative about it. So after you do the bust, after you get down to the underarm stitches, then you're increasing every 3 stitches. So you're doing a knit 3 make 1 across basically the entire body. So because this front, before I went for the sleeves, is only like 7 inches, and there's no way 7 inches is gonna fit my
Yeah.
44-inch chest. Like, I'm trusting the pattern. I just need to keep like reaffirming to myself like this is what she says, and then if it's too small, it can go to Mama Linneman like as a Christmas present.
That's a good
So
backup plan, yeah.
yeah, it's a good backup plan. It's just not the plan that I want. So we'll see. Um, that's a lot of talking for very little action. I got new needles. I was using Addy 3 millimeter 2.5 US version of the lace, and they were 32 inch, and they were the brass, and it was driving me a little bit crazy because my fingers make the brass smell. Plus, it was small, and I was squishing everything together. So I went ahead and ordered from Webb's 40-inch socket rockets in the same size. So it's the same type of needle, so I shouldn't have an issue. Sock rockets are like the Addy lace, but without the brass. And their tip might be a little bit less tapered now that I'm looking at them. But
I like them.
they're my favorite of the Addy needles. So besides now the Flip six are the current favorite, but they're DPNs. Um, so that is all I have to talk about. Thank goodness, because I've been talking a while, and that's living in my library bag. And I'm almost through the first game. I have this much left. So to the next game, I have 4 total games.
So you're not alternating?
I'm alternating right before I switch.
Oh, okay.
They seem very similar color lot, so I'm not super worried. Do they look different there? They might.
The one in your left hand looks a tiny bit
I don't think
lighter,
so.
but it could just be the lighting.
Yeah. They look in real life. They look pretty similar. So I'll rotate. Like I'll alternate for like 2 rows when I switch, and then if it messes up, I'm going to burn the sweater. So
Just for
I
the
should.
record, I recommend alternating.
Yeah, definitely. Like you should definitely alternate. I don't know where my brain went. So I think alternating in lace would have broken my brain.
That's true. You just started, so I would start alternating now. I mean,
Hmm. Yeah, now that I've hit the stockinette portion and I have a little bit left, I'm gonna definitely alternate for those two, and then maybe the rest. We'll see.
okay. Well, I don't have a ton of knitting. Like I said, I sort of took a Craft-cation after Spinzilla. Um, Plus, I was still on call, and uh, I hadn't like gotten a solid night of sleep in a week since I'd started on call. So I caught up on sleep as well.
That's good.
Um, so I only have a couple things to show, and most of that was driving to and from Rhinebeck, or at night sitting in the cabin. We would knit for a little bit. So the first is another of the mitered crosses squares. I've moved on to Sadie's handspun, and this is like
That's pretty.
Wicked Witch of the East or something. Um, I don't.
Reminds me of like a Monet.
Yeah, I really am digging how the handspun is working out in this. I think it's really working out well. So that makes my one, two, three, four, five, sixth square,
Oh,
and then
now you still have to do the log cabin around the
oh
outside.
yeah, I mean it's gonna take me a long. I expect I'll be working on this for a while.
Are you going to use the Coopworth you spun for that? Because that might be a good use
It
of
depends.
that.
Once I finish all the squares, I'll just see sort of, I want it to not be a huge contrast. I want it to sort of blend into a couple of the points in the squares. So we'll see. I started my next one yesterday or today on the way home. I don't remember. So again, this is just hand spun that I've gotten from lots of different people. This one in particular I got from Sadie. I'm just using a US size 6, and the yarn varies from like a heavy sport to a light bulky. And I'm not worrying about changing gauge because it's
Oh,
going
you
to
know
be a
how to
blanket.
crochet too, and you can crochet around if you need. If some
Right.
squares are smaller than others, you can crochet around them.
I'm not letting it bug me. It's not.
Oh,
The intention is not for it to be perfect. It's just sort of a way to use all the different bits and bobs that people have given me
yeah,
into one project.
that's a fabulous idea.
So, aside from that, I worked on my Rhinebeck sweater weather socks. Last week I had finished the first one except for the heel. I'm doing a true afterthought. And I had started the second one, I think. And so now I finished the
Oh,
second one today, but I have to
oh,
do, I picked up the stitches. I have to do the cut.
you have to cut a stitch.
I have to cut a stitch, which I'll probably do once you start talking again. These are nomadic yarns in the Rhinebeck sweater weather colorway. I really dig this a lot.
Pretty,
And they're on 2.75 millimeter needles,
super pretty.
which is a US size 2. And even though I really, really tried to make them match perfectly, I must have started decreasing a couple of rows before on the ones I did today because it doesn't have the orange in the tip, but not letting that bug me.
Oh,
Um,
good for you, because that stuff like that typically bugs you.
yeah, I would have ripped back the toe and redone it, which I could, but I just don't care enough, honestly. It's going to be in the toe of a shoe, so.
Yeah, you can kick anyone that comes very close to you. What are you drinking?
This is
I'm
hard cider.
curious. Oh, I've never seen that before.
I got it while we were up in New York, and we didn't end up drinking very much at all. And I mean, we're not usually lushes. Usually we'll go through like, between Lori and I, we'll go through like a 6-pack over the weekend or something. But we really didn't drink that much at all while we were there. It was too cold, dude. It was freaking cold.
I'm super glad. Like, I would have loved to go see the snow. Like, I love snow. That's my thing. That's my happy place. But at the same time, like, I would have frozen my booty off.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad that I did not, because I would totally have not packed enough hand knits
Yeah.
because it's like 80 here.
I really didn't. I thought I did, and I really didn't. But not that I didn't pack enough. I didn't pack certain things that I should have. But I'll talk more about Spinzilla and favorite, or Spinzilla, Rhinebeck and favorite things.
Okay.
So, I have no finished objects, and I have no spinning.
I have two finished objects. One's been done almost a month. Yeah, over a month. And it was my secret knitting for the month of September. I think I mentioned to y'all a couple times that I had secret knitting that I was doing, and this is it. This is Tesser. It is a shawl. I am going to forget who I designed the yarn out of. Let me pull that up. It's a new to me yarn that I've never used before, and I really, really liked it. It is out of... So this was for the Loopy Fall Giftables, so you won't be able to get it till next year at this time. It is Meadowcroft Dyeworks Cross Creek Sock, which I had never used before, but I really liked. It is an asymmetrical shawl, so it's super long and narrow. You start at one tip, and you work your way down all the way to here, and there is a cabled attached edging.
I really dig how that came out with the drop stitches.
I do too. I really like that stitch pattern. It's one of my favorites, as evidenced with my want to knit it over and over and over again. It's a drop stitch garter pattern, and then it's mimicked with the cable. So this is Tesser. It is named after, I like how you can style it differently. Like, I can wear it like a regular one. I can wear it like a scarf. It is part of the Loopy U Fall Giftables, so it will be available for general purchase on Ravelry October 2016. You'll be able to buy it through the Loopy U in the spring of 2016. They do it like when their spring giftables come out, they make the fall ones available for purchase. And if you're interested in getting on the list, like Ling keeps a list of people to email when it becomes available through the Loopy U. You can just email contact at the Loopy U. I think it's contact at the Loopy U. And Lynn will take care of you. So she's pretty cool about that. So this is my 51st pattern on Rav.
You are such a rock star.
I don't know about that. My 50th pattern on Rav just got released for the general public. That is the Up and Out socks, which I gave to you.
Yes, the Willy Wonka kit.
Yes. So the exclusivity of the Willy Wonka kit is now over. And in celebration of that being my 50th pattern, so I have 50 patterns available on Ravelry for download of some kind at this point. I am going to allow people to purchase it for 50% off. So you can get it for $2.50 until Friday, which is, what is Friday? The 23rd. So until midnight on the 23rd, Eastern Standard Time, you can get it for 50% off with the code 50, like FIFTY, and that's in the show notes as well. So yeah, that's...
Congratulations.
I never thought I would hit 50. Like, that's a lot of patterns. It's like I'm a real designer almost.
I know, right?
Wow. Anyway, so that's the first thing I finished a long, long time ago. The second thing I finished is one of the prompts for House Cup is birds. So I knit one of my friends, and I crocheted. Look at that. That is crochet right there, my friend. Right
yes.
there.
I got a text from Laura about it, and I told her how cute it was, and she said, and I crocheted. That's Satan's craft.
True story. So it's the free pattern called the Bluebird of Happiness. I used some leftover hand spun that has been in the stash a long, long time. I knit the prototype for a shawl I designed out of this. I can't even remember which one now. Man, I'm terrible at my own pattern names. That's terrible. I should fail. Demeter Shawlette. Say I remembered, I just had to think about it. So the prototype for that was knit out of this yarn. Man, that was a long time ago. And this was leftover bits, so it is a bluebird of happiness, and it will be going to a friend. And then I picked up, like, I crocheted through one of the loops, and then crocheted a little chain, and uh, strung it back through, and then did a little knot to make it look a little bit nicer.
I think it looks good.
So
I think your recipient will appreciate it.
I hope so. I might knit her a little dishcloth, one of those leaf dishcloths as well to go with it. So I also have a swap coming up, so I might knit another one of those. Well, it's a Halloween swap that I need to mail out next week, so I might do something for her as well. That is it for me for finished objects. I do have some spinning. You don't have any spinning to show,
Nope.
I'm guessing. Okay. So I'll do after Spinzilla first. After Spinzilla, I was reorganizing the stash because I had a wee bit of room. Like, I knit spun a half ounce. No, I knit spun 8 ounces, half a pound, because I spun 4 pounds, but 3.5 pounds came between clubs and everything this month. So, and when I bought that Moon Rover yarn, I also bought some Moon Rover fiber. It is what it is. Don't judge me.
I'm not judging you.
So, I found a little thing of batlings from Knitting and Color,
Ooh.
who will be at Fiber in the Borough this weekend. And so I spun them all and then chain plied them together. And this might become another bluebird of happiness. But it's just like 50 yards from 1 ounce.
It's pretty.
She sells them with her husband's spindles. So it's really to, like, you know, play with the spindles. But I spun on my ladybug. And plied it on my ladybug. Because I was feeling lazy about carrying a bobbin over to the mini spinner. So I enjoy that. It's got a little bit of sparkle. It makes me happy. I think I'll make some great bluebirds of happiness. Alright, so this is all my Spinzilla spinning.
Wow.
All together. Woo! So what I don't think I've shown you is I haven't shown you this. This is Cormo. I bought this at The Folds, which is a yarn shop outside of Chicago, Illinois. She carries Socks That Rock. She's just at Rhinebeck, I believe.
Yep.
But when you go to her shop, she's where I tried out a Shock Reefs for the first time. And I immediately texted Leslie like 15 pictures of me spinning on the Shock Reefs.
That is a fact.
Like a boss. And then I got Leslie and I some undyed roving from her. I think Leslie got this too. This is Cormo. It was spun long draw on the Shock Reefs. I'm digging how this came out. And this is going to be the white sheep part in a bobble hat. That's what I spun it for. It is 348 yards of a 2-ply. So it's super squishy and airy, and it makes me just so happy. So that's the first thing. I also spun, man, I wish Juno Fiber Arts was still around. Juno Fiber Arts, I bought this Silk Wensleydale blend. It is 70% Wensleydale, 30% silk, and it is just luscious.
Super shiny.
Oh my gosh, and it's just, I just want like all of it. I need David or Adrian to find this blend and replicate it, you know, and dye it for a club. Because when you hold on to it, one of the things that you can do for drape is if you let go of a skein, it'll kind of tell you how much. So like on this, no drape.
A lot of memory, but no drape.
Yeah, on this, oh, so much drape and prettiness. And I was not going to spin this for Spinzilla. This was like sitting in my basket and I was like, you know what you want to do. So this was kind of like a palette cleanser. I spun it very loosely, so you can tell it's loosely spun and loosely applied. I really wanted that halo to shine through, but also with long wools especially, if you over twist them, they become super crunchy and even harsher. So I wanted to keep that together. So 30% silk, 70% Wensleydale from Juno Fiber Arts. She is a British dyer who is sadly no longer dyeing. I wish I could have bought up all this base. This was 167 yards of a 2-ply. It's also a dense fiber with that silk and Wensleydale content. So I might weave with this. Like do a natural warp and then this is, actually this might work for the warp. I don't know. It might not have enough twist for a warp.
It's strong enough though.
Yeah, it's a longer staple fiber with silk, so it might. Oh, it's awesome. All right. Then the last thing that I spun is I had half the singles of this done. This is Kent Romney, which is like my favorite base ever. It is Firmer Ground from Hello Yarn. This was 430 yards of a 2-ply. So I love that purple with that orange. That was spun on the Ladybug. Also, I have Becca's Birthday Bats. This was 312 yards of a 2-ply. So lots of fun there. I had spun some Rolex from her too. Let's see. There's the Rolex. I have more in here. I just have to go through. There's those awesome Joanna Spring Bats,
which I totally ordered and got.
I don't know that I showed this. This is Hobbledehoy Batlings. It was 2 ounces in the English Ivy colorway, and it is 212 yards of a 2-ply. So that's nice and soft and squishy as well. I might use that for like the ground part of that hat, like the earth.
Oh yeah,
part.
I see what you're saying.
Because it's got lots of like greens and also browns. That might be fun, and it's soft. More Joanna Spring. Here is some CVM that also was purchased at the Folds. It is 326 yards. This was spun long draw on the Shucked Reefs as well. So this will be like the face part of the sheep, like that dark color. I kind of had a spinning plan, kind of, and then I think I haven't shown. I did show this. I did not show this. All right, 2 more. These were Rolex, and they are white, blue, and purple. And this was spun on the reefs.
I dig that.
A silk merino blend with a little bit of sparkle. They were from, hold on, I've got one of her buttons up here. Heartfelt Hand Spun. She sent these to us.
Yeah, I have some fiber from her as well.
So this is the fiber that she sent, which spun up really, really nice and really, really fast. So it was fun. So silk and Angelina and merino, I believe. And that was 416 yards. This is Southern Cross Fibers, BFL in the Paris colorway, 3.8 ounces. It was 300 yards of a 2-ply.
Looks kind of steampunkish.
Yeah. It's got like a light purple, a white, a light blue, a brown, and a gray. So like all my favorite colors ever. Yeah, pretty much. And then, was that it? I think that's it. Maybe. Yeah, I already showed that. I already showed the It's the Worlds. I think that's it. So 4 pounds total. Actually, there is one more thing. I was spinning Cordell from Hello Yarn in a green. That was one of her club colorways, and I lost the end of the bobbin. And when Mama Linneman came, she dug it out for me. It had gone all the way to the bottom and then gotten like collapsed on top of. But my mom, she's persistent and awesome.
She is pretty awesome.
So she found it for me. So I have the other half of that to spin as well. So total yardage was a wee bit over 15,000. It was like 15,200 and something yards for Spinzilla.
For you alone.
For me, well, for me alone, yeah. So I was quite happy with that as a whole. There were 2 nights that I had volleyball tournaments, so I probably could have eked out a little bit more if I didn't have that, but that's life. We're not professional spinners,
no.
So it is what it is. We did get the results of Spinzilla today.
Mm-hmm.
Our team came in 3rd. We're the only team that's been in the top 3 for all 3 years. Mm-hmm. We were 2nd the first year, 2nd the second year, and then 3rd this year. The team that won was Team Louette. They blew everyone else out of the ballpark by a lot. Our team as a whole grew 10,000 yards this year.
Yep.
So last year we were like right at 170-ish. 171-ish, maybe? Yeah. And this year we were at like 181-ish, maybe?
I'm really happy with what our team did.
Our team grew, which is awesome. They did a great job. They were super positive and supportive. And I'm really, really proud of us getting third because the other two teams that beat us, were
Like soundly beat us. Not
like
didn't beat us by a scheme.
beat us by like 40,000 yards at
Yes.
least. Like 240 was at the highest one.
I think 270 was the top one, and then it was 240.
I have it saved somewhere. So let's see. Louette North America was 271,607. So from last year, they grew around 150,000 yards, which is a lot. That's huge growth. Not Another Hat came in second. I think they were third last year, third or fourth last year. And then
Fourth last year. They
okay,
grew over 100,000 yards.
that's amazing. And then we grew at 10,000, which is incredible. Like that is for us that I didn't think we could beat 180. Like 180 was the number in my head that I was like, this is going to be insane if we can hit 180. And then Fancy Tiger came in fourth with 158,990. And it kind of goes down from that. Fly Magazine had another strong showing. Webb's was up there in the top 10. So there's a lot. Carolina Homespun was in the top 10. So there was a lot of strong competition.
There was.
It was really good. So I'm extremely proud of our team.
I am too. I think that we did really well. I am out for the future.
I think both of us have decided that this is probably going to be our last year. When my coworkers keep asking me every day how I did because I was that insane at work about it, like that is your sign that this might not be something that we need to continue with.
For me, like by Friday, when I still had 2 full days left to spin, my wrists were tingling and going numb. And it's not that I don't enjoy spinning, I do, but I just can't do it for hours and hours and hours at a time, day after day.
It's not healthy to do that either.
Yeah.
Like, I'd much rather spin 15 minutes a day than spin 8 years a day for a week. And probably get around the same productivity over, like, years. So.
And I might catch flack for this, but I am just not sure how some of the folks that spun, like there was somebody who spun 40,000 yards and somebody that spun 48,000 yards in a week. And I just don't know how that's possible. Like, I honestly would like to see how it's possible. But maybe they like have a system and they're production spinners and like they've got a science worked out and I don't know. But like, I didn't even truly think that was possible. So I was a little surprised by that. But you know, they did, and they beat the crap out of us, so congratulations. I just can't push myself like that anymore.
I thought the woman who spun like 35,000 and had the highest total last year was like crazy pants.
Well, I don't even think it was that high last year. It was, hold on, I'm looking. Top 5, 30,000.
Okay, so 30,000, and she had posted, like, I read her blog entry, and she had used only pin drafted roving.
Right.
So you're not doing a whole lot of drafting.
Right.
You're just adding twist and feeding it in on her mini spinner. And, like, the final 2 days, she watched every single Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movie that was available.
Oh, God.
So that's, like, I mean, those are, like, each 3.5 hours times 3 each. Yeah. Plus, she had watched all the extras, so she was, like, spinning almost 24 hours straight for the last final push. So that's amazing. Like, people who can do that to their body, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I am not... I am old at 34 and cannot do that. Because my wrist was killing me by the end.
And
my shoulder.
You spun twice as much as me.
Wow.
And
but I have an awesome sauce wheel. I think that's part of it too.
But still, I don't know. I think it's a great event. I love that TNNA does it, and it raises a lot of money.
I appreciate the raising of money for for education programs by TNNA, but it is a lot of stress. Like, I can feel my blood pressure go up when Spinzilla comes around. So
thank you to everybody who was on our team at any of the years that we did it. It is a lot of fun, but it is a lot of stress. So,
and y'all are amazing, especially the people who stuck with it and did it all 3 years. Like Carrie and Jessica
And
Oh
if you
man.
really love it, you can still keep doing it. You can do it as a
Yeah.
rogue or join
Well,
another
you can join
team or
another team for sure. I think if you want one of the top prizes, though, Rogue is the way to go because the big spinners are on teams,
mm-hmm.
and then like the person who won for Rogue spun like 18,000. So if you're in it to win it for the prizes, I
Maybe
think
go rogue.
Rogue is the way to go. Going Rogue is always an awesome idea.
Okay, let's see what else. We had a question from
Yeah.
Alexandra60. She says, "Hello from the land of Oz. I would greatly appreciate a recommendation for a sock knitting book. I'm only just starting out on socks, but I've been knitting on and off for many years. I've managed to knit a couple of pairs of socks by using only online resources. There's a lot of information out there.
There's a lot of information out there.
Sock architecture or custom socks are at the top of my list. Any recommendations or suggestions here? Thanks in advance."
So those would be the top two. I would say that those are probably the top two books. I think you can't go wrong either with the Kat Bordy books. Like, she's got some really interest. If you wanted to add on to that,
Yeah, I would put
she
a
has some
disclaimer
interesting
there. Like,
techniques.
if you want to expand how, if you want to expand your knowledge on the different techniques and ways to create socks, go Kat Bordy. But
But if you're looking for beginning resources, I think sock architecture and custom socks are the way probably to go.
yeah, and they have a lot of like data dump information in there.
Yeah.
So
I would also say Lucy Neepy has some wonderful
mm-hmm.
DVDs, but she also had a book called Cool Socks Warm Feet that might be out of print, but it might be available through her website. She's really nifty, and she is like the guru of socks. Leslie and I took a class with her a couple years ago.
Years ago. It was like 10 years ago almost.
Shut your mouth. It was not. I didn't even know you till 2008.
7.
Oh, crap. We've known each other almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane, dude. That makes sense, though, because Kobe's getting big. That's how I mark time. Kobe was like 2 when I met Leslie,
Yep.
and now he's like 11, almost 12.
He's 12.
Is he 12 now? It's a long time that I've known you. And our friend Lisha, like, she was the other L on the podcast. Her little girl was like 4th grade when I met her, and now she's in college.
She'll be 19 on Friday.
I know. It's craziness. Anyway, back to socks. So, Cool Socks Warm Feet is a great resource. Custom, and that has the garter stitch heel in it, short row heel. Sock Architecture, which we reviewed before by Laura Neal, has a bunch of different heels, a bunch of different toes. It's a good overall book. It does have patterns in it. Custom Socks by Kate Atherley, which was published by Interweave in August of 2015, is another great book, especially when you're talking about measurements or if you have different from standard feet and how to customize those.
Mm-hmm. I like Wendy's books too as well.
Yes,
Toe-up socks for everybody. I think
toe-up socks for the family. No, that was for
it's
everybody.
for everybody. Yeah.
And she's just got a toe-up socks book.
Mm-hmm. If you're looking for just a variety of different socks, less like informational and more like pattern.
All from the toe up with the same heel for the most part.
Right. I would also mention Cookie A has got some beautiful books, but they are generally the type where you have to pay attention to what you're doing.
They're pattern books.
Right. I like Koopnit's sock books as well.
Yes. She's got some good ones.
But both of those are definitely more, here's a little bit of information, and then here's a whole lot of beautiful patterns.
And Cooperative Press, if you are a larger person, Cooperative Press issued a book a couple years ago that everything uses an afterthought heel, but it's books for women of larger sizes.
It's like Andy Smith is the author.
Yes, it is.
I can't remember her name, or her book, but let me look that up real quick.
That's another good, interesting fit book.
Yeah, because she does explain how, especially larger girls, have wider calves and wider heels. That, here's ways that you could get adjusted. Bigfoot Knits, that's the name of the pattern book. So
all the socks are shown with Fluvox,
yes,
which is awesome too.
So
So
hopefully that gives you some information. If anybody else has suggestions, just put them in the episode thread.
yeah, definitely.
That way we can make sure that
There's
Alexandra
also
sees
the
them.
ebook of Fish Lips Kiss Heal too.
Yeah, and that's like $1,
Hmm.
and it gives you a great heel that you can plug into any sock.
It's a short row heel that you can use.
Mm-hmm.
So if short row fit heels are your applesauce, then that is the book, the little thing that you can use from there. All right, so what you reading? You said you were reading a ton. What have you been reading, my friend?
Um, just smut. Nothing I'm gonna link.
That is hilarious.
Just fluff crap that I don't have to think about. I've been listening to the third. I think it's Heir of Fire, Heir like Heir to the Throne, Heir, which is the next one in the Throne of Glass series.
Yes.
And I still haven't started my Things No One Will Tell Fat Girls yet. I just haven't had time. So nothing I'm going to tell anybody that I'm reading. So what about you?
Last night I was looking at reviews for a book called 1000 Nights, and it is basically a retelling of the Arabian Nights stories. And while I was reading reviews of that on Goodreads, it was getting a lot of like, this is the same as Wrath in the Dawn, but Wrath in the Dawn's better. You need to read that. Blah, 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 blah. So just for kicks and giggles, because sometimes when books are recommended for grades 9 and up, I can work them into my library. But sometimes I cannot because they're too mature. So in that case, I preview them by getting them from the public library if they have them available. And the public library had one copy of Wrath and Dawn in the whole state of Mississippi.
Oh.
So I requested it, and it came into my library through interlibrary loan, and it was pretty good. If you like the Selection series by Kiera Cass, I would say if you like the Crown of Midnight series, this would be a good read. It is about a girl who her best friend has been killed by the emperor dude of the area, and she volunteers. He's killing his wives one by one, and she volunteers to be his next wife. And it's how their relationship progresses. It's less emphasis on the stories that she tells and more emphasis on the relationship aspects. She also has a boy that had loved her since she was a little girl, who then starts trying to take over the crown to get her back, and it leaves in the middle, like it ends in the middle of the story, and the next one comes out in May. But I think I'll wait till May and get both of them at once for my kids, because if I get this first one, they'll forget about the second one by May, but they'll also bother the crap out of me until May.
Because you can change the publishing schedule.
Yes, I can. I am, in their minds, I have all the power. So I cannot. And trust me, there are books that, like, Alana Andrews, your next one would be now. Like, you would just keep writing me books every 2 weeks. Like, but I cannot do that. So I might hold off if I have money left in May and get both of them. I also read All Fell Down by Ellie Carter. It's the new series that she wrote. She is known for writing Heist Society, which is YA about a girl who's an art thief, which is really good. I read the first one. I haven't read the rest. I like her. She also did a spy series that's more appropriate for like 6th and 7th grade. High Society is more 8th grade, which is I'd Tell You I Love You, but then I'd have to kill you is the first one. So it's about these girls going to school to be spies. It's cute. It's very cute. A little bit of romance, but really, really cute. So this is her new series, and it is about a girl who sees her mother killed in front of her. And because of that, she's had mental problems, and her father is a Marine, and her brother's at West Point, and she is sent to live with her grandfather, who's the ambassador to some country, some made-up country, and he lives on Embassy Row, and it's just like all these embassies, and all the kids kind of get together, and she thinks that she's seen the guy who killed her mother. So it's got that intrigue, and there's a twist at the end. I would say that it's probably not my favorite Ally Carter book ever. I don't even know that it hit the top. Like, it's not the top series by far. It might be my third in the list of the series by her. But it's in the book fair, and the Scholastic Book Fair is coming in 2 weeks. So the kids and I had a conversation because on Goodreads it's again mixed reviews, and I
Yeah.
said, I didn't care for it, but there's a lot of books that I don't care for that people give awesome
Right.
reviews to on Goodreads, and you might really love it. So if you like action adventure, it's definitely like, I would say 13, 14 and up, depending on your maturity level. It does go pretty graphically into how her mom was killed. So I won't do a spoiler. So I finished that.
Spoiler, she
Um,
dies.
yeah, well, the twist at the end. I want to say it, but
Okay.
I'm not going to. So what I'm currently reading is I have 2 books. They're also in the book fair. Shocker. The first one is Body in the Woods. I put the first line on Instagram a couple days ago because it is really, really good. It's about these 3 kids. They have a wide variety of backgrounds. One of the girls is always trying to hide the fact that her mom has mental problems and she probably should be removed from the home. There's a boy who's like the stud boy, and then there's another girl who really is an individual and marches to the beat of her own drum. And they are all in this volunteer search and rescue. And they go out looking for a gentleman who has become lost. And while they're looking through the woods, they stumble across a teenage girl's body. She's been murdered. And the murderer
There's a
is
lot of
coming
death in
after.
the books that you're reading.
I know. It's very interesting. And the murderer is coming after them next. So they have to solve the mystery of who murdered them before they themselves are murdered. So that's The Body in the Woods by April Henry. She does a lot of like that thriller. If you're familiar with Joan Lowry Nix, she reminds me of her a little bit, but a lot of good thrillers. And then the last one is by Stan Lee, like the comic book dude, like
Yeah.
Spider-Man. He has a new series that he's written for Disney. It's Zodiac. It goes through like the Chinese zodiac.
Hmm.
It is about a boy who he's kind of chilling at this museum. He's Chinese in descent, and his parents have sent him to China to kind of get to know his heritage on a school trip. And he hears this guy screaming in the basement, and when he gets separated from his school group, and he goes down and sees this guy with these other people, and there's these wells of power, and they're like the Chinese zodiac. So there's one for dragon, and there's one for tiger, and there's one for horse. And through an accident, he is the year of the tiger, and he ends up absorbing the tiger. But the dragon dude, who's evil, spoiler, has absorbed like 5 of the powers.
Wow.
So it's very like lightning thief, like coming into your own. You've got these powers, and that's where I'm done. I've only read probably like 30 pages. So all that happens in like the first 30 pages. And there's some pretty cool illustrations because it's Stan Lee. It's not a graphic novel, but he does start each chapter with an illustration. So, and my kids and I have been discussing like Stan Lee and his characters that are flawed because he's the king of the flawed
Oh yeah.
hero.
I love a flawed hero.
Oh yes, Stan Lee is your man. So we've been discussing that, and I've been watching the same book fair video over and over and over 8 times a day
Oh God.
for a week. So, and you can tell I've been book talking those books quite a bit. So, there's some other really good ones in there too. A Night Divided looks really good, which is about a family that's separated when the Berlin Wall's built. It's by Jennifer Nielsen of The False Prince. So it looks to be a good book fair. We can make it work. Um, yeah, and of course there'll be tons of stuff. I might do a Periscope of my book fair when it comes in. We'll see.
That'd be cool.
I don't have Wi-Fi connected to my device like my phone at work, so we'll have to see how that works.
Can
But
you
yeah,
like can people buy from you to support your school online?
they get delivered to my school and I
Oh,
have to
so
mail
it makes it
out.
really
So
impractical.
it would make it hard. But
Okay.
yeah,
It's just a thought.
that's a great thought. I wish they could, but it's lots of fun. The kids like it, and Scholastic does like a scale. So the more you sell, the more percentage, the higher percentage of the profit you make. So the goal is always for us to get the 20% mark, which is like the highest. So that's like selling $4,000 worth of books. So we'll see. We always struggle to get there, but it'll be good. We'll see if my book talks are effective too.
I hope so.
I hope so too. The new Diary of a Wimpy Kid comes out November 2nd. It's black. That's the cover. And so they're super excited about that. So I've been pre-selling quite a few of those. Oh. So it's number 10. I can't believe Diary of a Wimpy Kid's on number 10 already. And he only publishes once a year, which means Diary of a Wimpy Kid's been out like 10 years.
We're old.
I am getting old. My middle schoolers remind me of that every single day. But in a good way.
Oh, there's a good way to feel old? That's good.
Well, we've been talking about the Berlin Wall with that Night Divided book, and I was like, yeah, you know, it came when the author is on the video and she's doing the book talk, and she's like, this probably didn't happen in your parents' time, but in your grandparents' time. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the Berlin Wall happened in my time. Like, not the building of it, but the fact that it existed. Like, oh, way to make me old, Jennifer Nielsen.
It's totally your fault, Jennifer Nielsen.
Way to shoot. Oh my goodness, if you haven't read False Prince, you need to read False Prince. It's so good. I might have given that to Kobe last year.
I don't know. So favorite things. Rhinebeck was this weekend.
Hey.
If you were on Instagram, you probably know that because it was everywhere, which is wonderful. Everybody that goes to Rhinebeck loves to see the trees and the changing of the seasons, and it was really great this year.
And it snowed.
It did. On Sunday, it snowed. It was great, like for the first 20 minutes. And then I was like, it's cold.
Come on, man.
But it was really cool. I mean, it would only flurry on and off. It didn't accumulate.
Like any of the buildings heated, or none of them are?
They don't need to be heated because when all those people get in there, it gets pretty warm.
That's true.
I don't know if they like have an external source of heat.
They have that food booth that's kind of separate.
The building, yeah.
That building.
They only have, they have buildings A, B, and C, which are all connected. Like you can walk through A to get to B. And C, and likewise, those are always the ones that are just crazy packed, because those have like the it people in them.
I heard the line for Miss Babs was 4 hours long.
We went late on Saturday. Usually, if you don't want to wait in line, you want to get parked by like 8:15 ish, and the gates don't open till 9. So we didn't, none of us, Lori, myself, and Suze all rode together. None of us had anything like that we had to get. So we didn't even leave the cabin until like 9:30. So we got there a little after 10:15. And as we were driving past...
How was the traffic?
It wasn't bad at all. We didn't have to wait at all until we were in the fairgrounds. We were waiting to park. It took us like 3 or 4 minutes. But from the road, like we had to pass part of the fairgrounds before we could turn in. From the road, I could see the Miss Babs line out the building and around. It was, and I could tell exactly what it was.
I love Miss Babs, but you can get her stuff online. It's not like, I mean, she does one exclusive colorway.
Right. She did the gradient was new, the Rhinebeck gradient, and then she did a Rhinebeck colorway. But yeah, I'm not certain what the big, or maybe you get like a slightly lower price in person or something. I'm not sure because I haven't bought from her.
I don't think so.
At Rhinebeck,
you have to pay tax if you do it in person too. I don't know.
Maybe some people just like really want to see the skeins in person, and I get that. But it was standing room only the whole freaking weekend.
Now I snuck in at Maryland and got the colorway. We went Sunday, right? Like Sunday afternoon towards the end.
Yeah.
There was very little of a line at that point.
It's always crazy at Rhinebeck. And then right across from her is Into the World, which was mobbed the whole weekend because she had a new...
she's doing a new color.
A kettle dye.
Yes.
So it's all the colors that you love, like Captain Tight Pants and Cat's Pajamas and all that. All those colors, but they're dyed in a different way, so they look totally different.
Cool.
I did not get there in time to get
And I
any
understand
of
it's the world
those.
because she only does bats at shows.
And
She
or in the
only,
club.
yeah, if you're in the club, which is like a 3-month
hmm
subscription. Um, but she doesn't do updates online a ton, like one a month.
Yeah,
And they sell out pretty quickly. So that I kind of see more,
yeah. I mean,
I don't
every
know.
year it's a different thing. Like I went
Yeah.
by Gail's art. I want to say like 11:30. All of her sock blanks gone, every single
Really?
one. She says that she had somebody come to her at like 10:30 that morning, and she
Uh,
was so disappointed that there weren't any. She said, I wanted to buy like five," and Gail was like, "I would have sold you five."
trust me, I'm not keeping them in the back.
So I'm stoked for her because her sock blanks were one of the things this year that people had to get,
Good.
which is
Gail's
wonderful.
amazing. Yeah.
Um, I really didn't get much. I'll show you what I got though. I did pre-order, or I say pre-order a piece of art. There's a lady who's always in the back left barn, and I can't remember what that number is, but ooh, I have a piece of her art. Hang on. So it's Carol Law Conklin, and her website is Amity Farm Boutique. Oh, it's facebook.com/Amity Farm Boutique. I guess. Oh no, she does have a website. I'm sorry. It's amityfarmboutique.com.
Yeah.
Um, so she does these
That one.
wax resist
Oh, cool.
images. So it's all like the outlines and the crack bits are all like a wax sort of relief
Yeah.
system. I don't know exactly how it works. She explained it to
Cool.
me, but I sort of zoned out. Um, and she had
You
a
need to
new.
get that one framed.
I got this one last year.
Maybe you need to get it
I
framed.
know, I do, but I just haven't yet. And this year she had a new one, and it was called something Sunrise. I can't remember exactly, but it was like bursts of red and orange, and it made me think of Rhinebeck. It was really beautiful. But she didn't have any large prints. She did a ton of prints on fabric, which could have been really useful, but I decided not to go that route. So I did a special order with her, and I got like an 11 by 14 for like $40. It was nothing.
Awesome.
So it'll be like 6 weeks probably before I get it, and I'll show it to you guys.
Yeah. Love
So
to see it.
on Friday, I got that and only one other thing. I went to Fox Hill
On Saturday.
on
Right?
Saturday,
Yeah.
and that was the only like must that I had to get. And she has a farm where she does cormo. It's in Massachusetts, cormo and some cormo crosses,
Uh-huh.
and her fiber is always exceptional, just absolutely beautiful. She does some yarns as well, all from her own sheep. Um,
Uh-huh.
Casey Tangerine Designs got some cormo, just fingering weight.
Uh-huh.
I was so jealous because it was so beautiful, and just light as air and just perfection. But I got a pound of cormo. I got a pound of hers from last year as well, but this is a different color. So this is
Uh-huh.
from Toast. That's the sheep's name.
Awesome.
So, and this is a cormo cross because cormo naturally only come in the white. So they crossed it to get this particular color, which isn't quite a morit, but it's
You want to
close.
explain what you mean by when you say morit?
Morit is sort of the chocolatey brown.
Okay.
I don't know why it's called morit. I just know that that's what morit means. So I got a pound, which I plan to mix with my other pound, which is a white, and
Yeah.
do something. So this is the fiber. It's
It's a long staple length on a cormo.
I know it's. I don't have a. Oh yeah, I do have a tape measure. So
Looks like 2 inches.
oh, it's longer. It's 4 inches almost.
Wow.
So and the crimp is spectacular, and it's
Great.
super clean for being a fleece that was outside. They're always jacketed. So the tips are slightly bent, which you can actually, it helps you tell that they were jacketed because they're slightly bent.
They go at 90-degree angle typically.
And they have a tiny bit of dirt on the ends, but
So
one
one of the things
wash.
you have to look for for when you look at jacketed fleeces is to make sure that they were jacketed correctly.
Mm-hmm.
If there's too much room, or it'll felt. If there's too little room, that angle will actually be compressed and farther down.
Yeah.
And that'll felt as well.
And I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful fiber. I'm super excited about that. I did on Sunday. They marked down the fleeces that were left, and there was one like Cordell Cross that I really wanted, but I didn't get it.
Good.
I really would like to get through some of the fleeces that I've processed. I'd like to spin them. Plus, there's Maryland, and there's Rhinebeck next year.
And there's Saf.
There's Saf. Yeah, you might find something amazing there. Plus, before I left, I had purchased like more like 5 or 6 different little 8-ounce bundles from the spinning loft. Yes, they've come, but I haven't touched them because they came right before I left to go out of town.
Raw fleece, or are they processed?
Raw fleece.
Okay.
So that way I can see how long it takes for them to be clean, and then how long it takes to card a particular type, and all that sort of thing.
Oh, you can play a little bit more.
Yeah. So on Sunday, I went back. Now, when I say I didn't really buy anything, I bought a lot of food. Like, that's the reason to go, right? To buy.
Maple syrup cotton candy is the bomb.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, we bought the apple pie a la mode for breakfast, and then it started snowing, so we were eating ice cream in the snow because we were hardcore that way.
We're hardcore.
And so we're sitting down at the table chatting while we're eating our breakfast, and after like 10 minutes, I was sitting next to one blonde lady, and there was somebody else on the other side of her, and after like 10 minutes, I realized that other person was Laura Nelkin. I'm like, is that Laura Nelkin? That sounds like Laura Nelkin.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so we chatted for a while, and the other person
I love Laura Nelkin.
beside her was Mindy, who's knitting ninja.
We have her ornaments to review.
We do have her ornaments to review.
Mm-hmm. I might knit that this week. That is.
Ooh, that would be a good quick FO. That's a great idea.
Plus, it's absolutely stunning, and I want to knit them all.
So I went by Hanson as well, and got a couple of drive bands, and then Laura wanted a couple of break bands.
You got me a break band.
I got you 2 break bands.
Thank you, because I've gone through 2 in a month.
Well, and they were like $5. I'm like, I'm here. I'll just buy another one, right?
Thank you.
So I need
to.
Did
you tell him about Did he ask you why you were buying so many break bands?
He didn't.
You should have told him about my crazy e-spinner.
And so on Sunday, again, we went late, and we got there about 10 when they opened. We wandered for a really long time, and the only thing I ended up buying was Into the World, because it's Chris and James, and how can you
James are amazing
not support
people.
them?
Like, on the awesome people list, like, Chris and James and Gail are definitely near my top. Babs is near there, too. She's a hoot. I really like her.
She's not at the top because we can never get to her. That's the only reason.
Yeah, really. Like, I see her at Stitches. Like, I can talk with her more at Stitches.
Yeah.
But yeah, anywhere else she's swarmed. Maybe she'll be less swarmed at SAF. Although, like, when people talk about the booths that you have to wait a long line in,
that just makes it worse. It exacerbates it.
Yeah. That was on the list.
So Into the World.
Goat fudge place.
The what?
The goat fudge place.
Oh, yeah.
I pre-ordered my goat fudge. I'm super excited. I've restrained myself and only got 2.
That is the weirdest sentence you've ever uttered, I think. I've pre-ordered my goat fudge.
Excited.
So Into the World, I guess I didn't realize they dye their colors in different methods. And so you can buy the different methods. You can buy
that's a newer thing, I think.
The hand painted method. You can buy the kettle dyed, which is new, or you can buy the palindrome method.
Yeah, the palindrome's been around for a little while.
So it goes from like dark to light back to dark or whatever, whatever the color scheme is, which I thought would be brilliant for those pooling scarves.
Yes.
That you would weave. So I got 2 skeins for that. This one is God's Wood.
I love that colorway.
And
that's what I spun and knit Alicia's baby boy Edison a hat out of.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yep. When he was born.
I also got Hijinks.
Ooh, I haven't seen that one before.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a new color or not.
That's pretty.
She said they brought back a bunch of their colors that they hadn't done, and actually James said that they hadn't dyed in a while, so it might just be an older color that got brought
It
back.
might have been before I was in the club, one of those colors, because there was club like 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
before I joined.
And then the last purchase, once we got back to the cabins and everybody did show and tell, 4 people bought this colorway in 4 different bases, like yarns or fibers.
That's
So
hilarious.
this is radioactive, and it's like a
Yeah.
super bright green with purple and gray in it, which I knew immediately I wanted to spin in like a big, chunky, thick yarn for a hat or something.
Kind of fun.
And this is Targi, which I don't know that I've spun their Targi before, but I
I
have
have.
spun
It's
Targi and I like it.
lovely. They have nice
Um,
target.
and Continental Kim started spinning this yesterday, apparently.
Oh,
I kept trying to catch her at Rhinebeck and I couldn't.
oh,
I
that's
never ran
sad.
into her or Rachel Coopy. But I did run into tons of people. So I have a fangirl story.
Did
So,
someone jump out from behind me? So like on Instagram, you said where you were or took a selfie, and the person who jumped out behind you at Maryland said, "You're safe. I'm in Pennsylvania," which is like the highlight
but
of my.
she had someone come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm here to jump out and scare you."
That
Um,
is amazing.
yeah, which was really funny, and she was a nice person. But I happened to be,
You got a surrogate.
I
That's
swear,
awesome.
a surrogate scarer. Um, I
That
was
to be the title of the podcast.
I was passing on Saturday. Some of the high in demand like food lines can get really long. So one of them was the lamb sausage, which is a little morbid if you think about it, like buying lamb at a sheep festival. But
That's all Maryland sells is
yeah,
lamb.
I mean, I've eaten it there, but don't get me wrong, it just seems a little morbid. But um,
That's what the PETA people were protesting.
yeah, at Maryland, yeah. So as I was passing the line, I saw a lady with a tote bag, and it had Clara yarn on it. And that's a new thing that Clara Parks is doing. And
Yeah.
so I stopped, and I didn't know this person, but I stopped and chatted with her and asked her about the yarn and how did she like it, and the different bases and stuff. So I chatted
She
with
has
her
like a Shetland and a Cormo and
and she's got something new apparently that's coming. But
oh, fun.
so I was chatting with this person, and it ended up that she was with a big group. And one of those people in the group came up to me and said, "Oh, hi, I love your show. Would it be okay if we got a picture?" And I looked at her, and she looked really familiar, but I couldn't place her. I was like, "I know I've seen you," but I couldn't place her. And I said, "Okay, hi, I'm Leslie." And she says, "Oh, I know who you are. I'm Hooey Locatelli." And I'm like, "Oh, oh my God, you're Hooey Locatelli, and you know who I am." Oh. So
So
she's
you
probably,
fangirled someone
I
else.
totally did. And I was like,
That's hilarious.
and then of course Sunday I ended up fangirling Jessica of Ravelry
Uh huh.
and MJ, not MJ.
And you saw Amy Herzog too,
I did
right?
see Amy Herzog.
Did you see Amy?
Christopher's, I saw her, but she was way across the thing, so I didn't get to see her, or, like, talk to her.
And MJ Mucklestone was there too. Did you get to
I
see
didn't
her?
get to see her. No, she came on Sunday, but I didn't see her. But after I totally fangirled on Hohi Locatelli for a while, I got a picture. So Hohi watches us. Hi, Hohi.
That's so
We
exciting.
love you. Yeah, it was really cool. And let's see who else. Tons of people introduced themselves to me, and I will leave someone out if I say anyone's name, so I'm not going to. But I love when people come up and chat with me. Thank you very much. Um, it was a really good time. I love that it was cold enough this year to actually wear sweaters. For me, it's usually not.
So what sweaters did you wear?
Saturday, I wore pumpkin ale, which was bright orange, so it was impossible to miss. And then Sunday, I wore my custom fit, which was it's a V-neck half sleeve.
I'd forgotten you had finished that until
Yeah,
I
red
saw it.
Madeline Tosh. I wore it with black tights and boots, and I was a little worried that it wasn't quite long enough, but it ended up being just fine. I had people take pictures of me from behind so I could see to make sure. Um, let's see, what else was I gonna say? The weather was great. I got to sit and talk with a lot of people. Not everybody that I would have liked to, but a lot of folks. definitely going to go again next year, although probably we'll have to stay somewhere else just because the place I stay, or I have stayed in the past, it's a group of little cabins, so there's lots of folks that I know that stay there, which is what makes it really cool. But it's also small, and so I have a
We're
couple.
expanding next year.
Yeah, Laura and her mom want to come, which is freaking awesome. And Lynn and Jess hopefully will get to come. So there's just not space for them at that place, so we'll have to look for somewhere else.
Did you run into Sherry from Loopy?
I
Did she?
didn't. No, I know she was there, but I didn't see her.
How
Um,
could you not spot these people amongst 50,000 other
I
people?
know, right? And Saturday was crazy. Like we got there late. Like I said, we got there into the park probably around 10:15, and we left at 2. I was done. I just couldn't do it anymore. Um, but luckily, we're there so we can go both days, and it's so much easier on Sunday, except for the couple of booths that are crazy, but so
Yep.
much easier on Sunday. I had a great time. I will continue to go to that as long as I live close enough to go to it. It really is a great festival.
Cool.
Um,
What were the it patterns that you saw everywhere?
I saw the bobble pattern. I don't know who that's by, but it's a sheep hat.
For Shetland Wool Week. Yeah.
It's color work and it's free, I think, on Ravelry.
Yep, it is.
That was everywhere. Um, Gather Together, which I think is a Hohi pattern, was everywhere. It's like a cardigan with this sort of cable thing that goes across the top. That was everywhere. I saw several pumpkin ales. I want to say I had 3 people stop me that were also wearing pumpkin ales on Saturday, and then I saw at least a half a dozen others. So
Cool.
that was a big pattern. I saw a fair number of heroes, so that's still a popular one. A good number of boxies.
Oh, how did that look on people? Like of different
I
ones?
only saw it on teeny tiny, like really
Okay.
skinny folks, and of course it looked fantastic on those folks. Um, I got to see Ross Farms's Hot Flash, which was
Yeah.
Laura Nelkin, and it looked beautiful. Um, and then there was a lot of brioche this year. A lot of that hat that we talked about from what's that person's name?
Well, I'll find it.
Maori, something Maori. Um, a lot of brioche this year. In fact, Dorian was wearing a brioche like
Andrea
poncho.
Mowry.
Maori, yeah,
It is the vintage prim hat.
yeah. And I really want to make that. I know that
It's on my
Sadie
list
made one.
too. Yep, and she's doing a knit along, I think, this next couple months. The only thing is it's a fingering hat,
Oh,
so it's gonna take a little bit.
yeah. I like that one. I saw a lot of brioche this year as well. So it's like knitter prom. That's what people say. And I have to say that it's true. And I saw a lot of really great knitting there. And one of them was Malia, who stayed in the cabin area where I was,
Uh-huh.
who knit this Nuvum, which is a Martina Bam pattern, out of 8 ounces of hand spun. And it was like light as air and just beautiful. And if I could have gotten away with walking out with it, I would have had no shame and done it because it was so gorgeous. So that's a goal for next year is I would like to knit a Nuvum like that out of hand spun. A really light and airy one.
Cool.
I feel like I've talked a long time. So, one more thing I did want to show from Rhinebeck. The folks at the cabin, which I'll miss next year. I wonder if we can do one in our little group. We do an
For
ornament
the
swap.
ornament swap? Yeah.
So it's optional. The people there, you can choose whether or not you want to do it. But basically, you make enough ornaments that you can share one with everybody, and then you get one of all of theirs. So this year, I think there were like 8 or 9 people, and it is so much fun because the only rule is that it's handmade. It can be any craft, any method, whatever you want. Just handmade is the only rule. So you get some really cool stuff.
Oh,
So I'm going to show you if I can get this out. So this was from Stacy of Mustache. So it's got like a wire frame and then her yarn is wrapped around it.
super cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. This is from Amy Froggy Monkey, which is this cool, like it's a sewn ornament, but
Uh-huh.
it looks really complex. I have no idea how she made it, but it like folds over and it's got all these hidden areas in it. So that was really cool as well. This is from Lori, who does a lot of woodcut.
Working. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got
Oh, I love
the
that.
maple leaf with the Rhinebeck 15 on it. Um, let's see. This is from Kristen. She crocheted all these little,
Cross
or
stitch.
cross stitched, yeah, all these little, um,
That's Biscuit
she,
Girl.
yeah, Biscuit Girl, and she even customized the color for the person.
Oh
So
wow,
this
that's
one is red because red is my color, and it's a little pillow, so she sewed a little pillow as well. Um, this one is Amy Beth. So it's got the nails, and then
oh
the
cute.
string runs through to create the ornament, and it's on a
Yeah,
wood cut. Let's see what else.
it's really interesting how many different crafts there are.
Yeah. So this one was from Melissa, Melia Bella, and it's got the little
Is it
chalkboard.
painted?
Yeah, it's a painted ceramic ornament, and each one of hers was a little bit different as well. And red. This one was from. Oh, crud. Crap, now I'm going to forget who this one was from. I'm sorry, I've forgotten. But they're all slightly different, and they have little prints on them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then Casey of Tangerine Designs did these. So this is what the lodge looks like, the cabins that we stay at.
Uh-huh.
And then she did, for each one of us, she did a little picture
Cool.
from a previous Rhinebeck and a little crocheted ornament. Casey always goes overboard, and she knows this about herself.
That's very true.
Yeah.
You look at her kid's birthday party.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah, oh, she's super I don't say that detrimentally. She is super
No.
duper creative. I just can't keep up and don't try. The ones that I did were all little embroidered ones,
Yeah.
which I showed you guys before. Oh, let go of my sock. Thank you. And then I ended up getting, stay there. Something I had requested from Lori a while back. It's a
Oh.
hand-turned seam ripper.
Cool.
Yeah.
I need to get my spindle back from Lori.
You should text her. I'll give you her number.
I do. I have her number.
Okay.
I
So,
will.
and this was
She's so busy. I hate to bother her.
a hand-turned wood one. So I love it. I think it's wonderful. Hopefully I won't lose it.
It's gorgeous.
I also have something to add to the Craft All the Things prizes.
Oh, cool.
So from A Riot of Color, I ran into her at Rhinebeck. She was
Is that
sharing
Painter's mom?
Painter Mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was sharing a booth with somebody who did bags, but now I can't remember who. So this is the Chivalry base, which is 100% superwash blue-faced luster. It's 183 yards in the Petunias colorway. So it's a big
Great.
fat yarn, which is
Yeah.
cool. And again, this is A Riot of Color. She has an Etsy shop if you're interested. And this will get
Riot of
added to the
Color.
Craft All the Things prizes.
Cool. Craft All the Things is an ongoing Halloween crafting of all the things that we have going on. For details, you can look in our Ravelry group. But it is basically like anything you can sell to us as being Halloween or fall, you can put there.
Mhm.
I think we had our 400 finished objects already, so that's super cool.
I love because people can get funny about how they tie it back
is
into,
hilarious.
which is we totally encourage.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Let's see. Where's the Craft All the Things? Yeah, 464 entries right now. Awesome.
That is pretty awesome. So and that'll go on until the 31st of October, and then we'll draw prizes the week after that.
Yep.
We have a giveaway that we actually forgot last week. Gail's Art, who, like I mentioned earlier at Rhinebeck, her sock blanks disappeared immediately. She wants us to do a giveaway for a membership to her sock club.
So that's the sock club that is, it's the sock blanks,
Mm-hmm.
and there's 3 of them.
Yep.
And one of them looks like this.
I have one of them too. Hang on, I gotta find it.
Which is the Happy New Year. That's the January one. And this is the November one. And Leslie has the December one.
Yep, this is the snowflake one.
Which is super cute.
I am so excited about how these are going to pop in the little bits of white. I think it's going to look awesome.
That is going to be awesome.
So,
I'm going to wind mine off into a skein probably maybe before I go to SAF and take this with me as my SAF knitting.
I'm not. I'm just going to knit straight from the sock blank because the curliness doesn't bother me.
That's the difference in how we tension our yarn.
Yeah.
Or not tension our yarn at all.
As the case may go. So, she wants to do a giveaway for the 3-month membership to her club. And her prompt, the way that you enter, we'll start a thread on the group. She wants your favorite holiday cookie or dessert recipe. Because she wants, especially cookies, she wants new recipes for that. So you can link to it or you can put your recipe in there directly, whatever makes you happy. Which I think is a cool prompt. I like that.
I like that. And she has an Etsy shop and it does regular updates. So if you don't win the club and you're not interested in a club, she does put she just did one with ornaments, I think, for Christmas up. She does sock blanks periodically.
Yeah, and she still has the club up there available. I think it's like 75% full, so if you're interested, I would get out there pretty quickly. Yep. I'm going to link her in the show notes because
she does great natural dyed roving too.
Oh, her roving is like butter. I love it. Yeah. So there's that giveaway, and we actually have a second giveaway. And this is from a company called Skeino.
Okay.
Which is brand new to us. I had actually never heard of it until their PR person got in touch with us. And it's a really cool website, I have to say. They do, and so I've linked it on the site. They do a lot of kits with gradient colors and all that, and tons of selection. And so they gave 2 different, one I'm going to make, and then they gave us one to give away. So the one that I'm going to make is the Arabella shawl, and it looks like this.
Oh, that's pretty.
And they had, I want to say, like 20 different colorways. And so I chose, I can't remember what this was called, something about a beach, but so it comes like this. And each one of these is a little mini skein, so you pop it off and then you wind it.
Oh, that is clever.
That's super clever. And their prices are really reasonable. This one, I think, this is 1,200 yards, so each one of these is 100 yards.
That is the cleverest way I've seen of doing it.
I'm super excited about it. And each kit comes in its own little bag, its own little muslin bag.
That is so cool.
So the one that we're going to give away is this one. And it is the Miss Grace Tapestry Knitting Shawl. I've seen this technique a lot, and I want to try it at some point. And the pattern is written in a really cool way. It's super easy, and then you basically go off of numbers based on what you're doing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's, you get one solid and then variegate, and the way that you mix them creates this really cool mosaic looking, like wavy pattern. So let me pull this out. So because this isn't a gradient kit, they're in just regular skeins. So this is the solid, and then, well, I say solid, this is the basic base color.
Yeah.
And then this is the
main color?
Yeah, main color. There you go. This is the alternate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think they actually complement each other really well.
Love it. It'll be more subtle. That's really cool.
Yeah, so there's 4 skeins all together. I think it's almost 400 yards each skein, so it's like 1,580 total yards. And they offer a 10% discount code for our viewers. The code is girls with 5 L's. I don't know why they chose 5 L's, but they did. So it's GIRLLLLS, and you can get 10% off anything on their site until December the 1st.
There are some like guidelines, like you can only use that once. It doesn't apply to shipping.
Right.
I can't remember what the rest.
I'll put that in the giveaway thread. I'll put the terms in the giveaway thread. So I would just say, in order to enter this, just tell us your favorite item from their site, whether it's a kit
Yeah,
or a colorway or a pattern or whatever. They actually have a lot of cool
I think
stuff
they'll
on their
do
site.
some cool stuff for gift knitting.
Yeah. Or to give as gifts. Like
Oh
it's,
yeah,
it's already packaged up and ready. So, um, we have two giveaways this week. So we'll put separate threads out
I'm
there
gonna
for each
put
one
you
of
in
them.
charge of
Yeah.
doing the
I'll start
giveaways
the
for me.
threads.
Thank you.
Um, and the only thing left to talk about really is Patreon. Um, Laura and I are absolutely going to put up the new freaking, um, what are they called? Goals. There we go.
Yeah.
This week. Um, and some new rewards as well. One of the rewards, which we thought was just a silly, fun thing, is if you pledge more, $5 or more per episode, you get your name as a co-executive producer because you are helping us produce this show, um, down under here
Yeah, at the end,
at
unless
the
it
end
was
of the
going to be
show.
on this episode,
We're going to
start
start
it
that
there.
this
Yeah.
week.
Um, Trying to
And
think what else. Next week we'll do the drawing for a skein of yarn or a skein of hand spun.
yes, because we'll do that once a month. And we're still, of course, open to ideas on what you think would be great, would be a good incentive.
Yeah.
So, those that have donated, we do sincerely appreciate it. Thank you notes, we are having them designed, so they have not gone out yet, but they will. And I don't know. Aside from that, I feel like I've talked for 2 hours. So
Have you? I feel like we've been here a while, and you know how I know that is because I was on this Slack at the beginning of the show, and look at that's a lot of knitting.
mark your progress in stripes.
There you go. Yeah, an hour and
Hour and a half.
34 minutes. Yeah, that's quite a bit. So, I mean, Leslie will edit some of our chit chat at the beginning, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
still a good bit.
Well, I guess that's it for this week.
I will see some people at SAF
Mm-hmm.
in 2 weekends. So I'm super excited about that. I will be there Saturday only. I will, my grandmother will be also visiting my parents. So I'm going to spend Friday and a little bit of time on Sunday with her. I'm going to swing by House of Yarn in Nashville on Sunday on my way back through. But I'm excited to see some folk there.
Yeah.
Come say hi to me. I'll have pens, hopefully, if I remember to pack them. I need to put those in my suitcase tonight. But yeah, my mom might be with me, and my grandmother, who's 80, who just turned 80 this year, might be with me
Aww.
too. She used to knit. She'll be like, I knit when I had to during World War II. The end.
And now I'm done.
I used to knit socks for soldiers. The end. Like, she's very funny. But yep, I'll be hanging out. Wheezy might make an appearance too. So if you see him, harass him.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.